Hello and welcome to another video. This is looking at the dungeon run of Ascalonian Catacombs, and this is part 2. As you can see there, we just the Spider Queen section, and our party again is a pug party. We have 3 warriors, 1 guardian, and myself being the elementalist. And I'm just going to talk you through, for those of you who are unfamiliar or unsure all the specifics of the dungeon, I'm going to talk through this dungeon path. P2, very, it's pretty simplistic. I don't think it's too difficult. I think a lot of people don't tend to do Path 2, they prefer to do Ascalon Catacombs Path 1 and 3. But Path 2, I believe, is pretty simple and pretty quick, compared to, Path 3. You do have that long period where you ended up waiting for a section. But as we see here, we've got the Spider Queen up. I managed to freeze it with my ice bow, rain down ice storm, so that's a good start to us. We've got pretty high DPS in our party. One of my party members, he's got the ice bow now and raining more down. We're just making sure that the flame turrets are being destroyed. I think one of them hasn't, no, one still hasn't been. But again, in sort of, we're able to take down the Spider Queen without any serious trouble. I don't think anyone's going to die in this section. You can see the Spider Queen's melting pretty quick. And there we go. So that's the Spider Queen done. Nice bit of loot. And I'll grab the Banner of Discipline. And unfortunately, I think the mobs have just, they're on their way back up. So we're going to wait. We stack in this section here. It's a good place to stack. One person will go and pull. I'm just going to clear my inventory a little bit. It's something, I can do while I'm waiting. Just do some salvaging of the rares and the blues and the white categoried loot. So here we go. We're going to stack, and we're going to have some might stacks going with the guardian and his staff skill. I'm putting some might stacks and putting some heavy DPS down there, and the Graveling Stalker's dead. So we've got some very high DPS pretty quick. As said, stacking that spot's pretty ideal. The warrior's jumping ahead to go and release the spike 4 trap by pulling the chain up there, and then we'll move on to Lieutenant Kholer. So this is a pretty simple run. It's just around about it's between 10 and 15 minutes. Depending on the group. We had a slight hiccup a little bit towards the I think towards the end. But here we go, we're all stacked in the right spot for Lieutenant Kholer. We'll pull him over. I'm going to drop some fire fields for the might stacks, and got my ice bow, launched the ice storm. I'm going to freeze him. Oh, that's perfect, what a freeze, look at that, mid-air jump. So we've frozen him, so that's helping us out. Remember, when you do have a stun skill or a knockback skill on these bosses, they do gain defiance. You can only use it that once, so it's that opening salvo that's the critical time. And there we go, so Kholer's down. He didn't get much in of his swinging attack. So there we go, we've got this waypoint, and that'll come in handy for later on. So what I'm going to say here, I'm going to get the switch, because me being the squishy elementalist, Zerka really, I need to take these traps, otherwise I will not last very long. And considering my other 4 colleagues are all DPS, tank heavy armored guys, I'm the one that should be doing the traps. So we'll explain this section. There are 4 traps. It was done differently originally, but there's a method to doing this now. So we'll pull the NPC over. I'm standing over covering 2 traps, and you'll notice the group will be standing down there once the NPCs just come over and activated. Unfortunately, Detha sometimes doesn't start unless we actually move. There we go. So she's moved over, and we'll start this off. A load of Gravelings will spawn, and my job's to spawn the traps. As you'll see, the party's stacked up in a nice location. That's what pulling the traps does. It spawns the spikes in the floor, and it will kill loads of Gravelings. So the idea is that I covered the right hand side by just using these 2 traps, and with the party stacked there, Detha never gets in any trouble. She'll have a few little Gravelings may get through, but the majority will be pulled back by the group as I run between the traps, going backwards and forwards. The rest of my party are just doing DPS. You can look at their health bars. No, they're not even losing any health here. We've got the breeder. The breeder sometimes gets a little bit stuck. He spawns loads of allies before actually making a move, so sometimes you have to wait for him to come in. He does have higher health than the rest of his minions, but as you can see here, they're still not having any problems. They're getting a bit of Condi affecting them, but that will be the breeder. And they're you know, with Guardian cleansing them, they'll be fine. And I'm just running about like a headless chicken, trying to go from one side to another. Press F, run, press F, run, press F. That's all I'm doing, just making sure to try and keep it up. And the breeder dead, and all the gravelings have been destroyed. And that's it. So we'll go over, get our loot box, and then what we'll do, we'll waypoint back up to where Kholer was, Lieutenant Kholer. So there we go, quick waypoint. And there we go, and we go up to the north. If you look at the mini-map, we're heading straight north. It is a wise idea to take stability, because these gravelings do knockdown. There's this group here, and the other gravelings just up here. So I've got, there we go, I've been knocked down, so I'm just going to pop it, and I'm away. You then need to pull this chain to open the gate, which is the gate just here. You might have noticed going up. And so we're in there, and the users of spawn, they'll fight the gravelings, but our job here is to get out of combat and start the final phase of the dungeon. Well, the final part of the final phase of the dungeon. This bit involves protecting Detha while she goes around setting up 3 traps. You can see these 3 objects on the floor here. Our job is to protect Detha. Load of ghosts will spawn, and the party's job is to protect her. There's 3 locations where they spawn from, as you'll see here. We're all stacked up, so Detha's going to start coming over to prepare this trap over here, and we're going to stack up. So the Guardian giving good might stacks is helpful for our warriors and myself, because we've got very good DPS here. So I'm going to pop there we go. So I'm going to put the fire field. There we go. So you can see here, I've got the might stack. Unfortunately, the arcane wave hasn't. I haven't timed. My skill hasn't recharged because I've still got the armor of earth. But you can see here we've wiped out these ads, and Detha's fine. So now we're going to go over to the second point. This is the second place. There's 3 places where we stack because it's where you can pull them over. So I've just swapped back to my skill. So I'm going to keep those healing fields up. Necromancers are the tricky one, because they do inflict a lot of condition damage on you. But if you keep up the DPS, look, they're all coming over now. Then nobody's attacking Detha, so they're all being focused on us. These necromancers are a bit of a pain. But yeah, so we've got the stack. You want to keep, if you don't have high DPS, you want to keep an eye on Detha, because obviously she moves on to the next trap. You could still be fighting some of the ads. So if you need to follow when Detha starts moving, you need to leave those ads and move on to the next one. So we are into the sort of 3rd trap stage. You go around twice, protecting Detha. No difference in either side. You don't get harder bosses or harder ads. They tend to be the same. So you can see here we're just killing the last one. Detha's already moving on, so we need to be over there. Because the NPCs, the ads won't, we're not even over there yet, and we are all, they've already spawned, so I need to get in position. There we go. Oh, I've been interrupted. I think that was a mesmer. Okay, I'll get my fire. Let's nuke those down. There we go. See the might stacks up to 16, 17. We're getting really good might stacks. We're killing those necromancer, and Detha's moving on. The rest of my party is still a bit stuck. I've got to go over there to make sure that Detha survives. Here we go. So if I get that elementalist, the rest will come over. Here we go. My party's just a little bit behind, but with me covering, the rest are going to come over anyway. So here we go. And that'll be them done. And then Detha, she should move on to the last one. To be honest, you don't even need to defend the last one. I mean, if Detha pretty much does it herself, the last one, it's just good to get over there on the, just get stacked up. But if you watch the amount of time it takes Detha to do that final trap, she would have survived. You can just leave that final, final one if you want. We tend to stay there, and that's it. So the traps are all set. You get a chest at the bottom of this mini-map there, you can see, and then we have the final stage. So the Ghost Eater will come along. There's you get a gun, and the idea is that you fire. You know, you have two options. There's a pull. There's a sort of lift, and there's a pull. Sort of option. I've just cut ahead for it. So here we go. One person pulls, the other person lifts it. You do that 3 times for 3 oozes, and as you can see in the top right, we've filled the west trap power. You don't have to do any more, because that's pretty much all you need. You only need 1 trap because, you know, the way we stack, the Ghost Eater gets DPS very, very quickly. You're not going to see a very pro pull here. This is one of the worst pulls I've ever seen. The idea is you pull over, one person pulls over the Ghost Eater. Instead, he decides to fire at the Ghost Eater, which I don't understand what he's doing there. Which has caused loads of ooze to add. Because what happens, as you'll see here, the Ghost Eater launches an AoE attack, and then you want him to run after you. So you want to have one person stand outside of the stack, and then. But still, he didn't pull over correctly, because now what happens, the Ghost Eater is going to launch an AoE attack at us, so we have to move out the way. So it's not the usual stack, but the warriors are, you know, melee anyway, so they'll stack up. I'm going to launch the Ice Storm, so that you can see the numbers I'm hitting it for. Sort of, you know, we're getting higher damage numbers, and that's it. You know, the Ghost Eater's down. I hope this has been this dungeon's run's been helpful for you guys if you're pretty new to it. Hopefully it's shown you something, and yeah, thanks very much for watching. Hope you guys have successful with your dungeon runs. This was Ascalon Catacombs Part 2.